I feel like low-key I'm about to start living for the first time, like living life like the way that Molly wants to, because yeah, we've been doing a lot of people pleasing all my life, watching me. Is it focused? Is it focused? Okay. Alright. Hello people, what is up? So it's been quite a while, but I'm back. So I've been wanting to film this video for probably the last couple weeks now. I was very excited. I'm like, I need to wait for the right day to do it. Like, I just gotta feel like it's the right day. Today's the day. I was fine until I got the camera out, and now I'm feeling a little nervous, but this doesn't feel like a video that's forced or a conversation that's forced. It feels like something that I like need to share, that I should share with people, because I really think that it could help a lot of people. And yes, anyways, so the title of this video is I Watched My Life Transform, because I'm about to tell you a story about how I spent basically a whole year, because it's been about a whole year, healing myself, pretty much. Okay, so I wanted to start with, let's just tell the story from the beginning. So set the date. It is May, June of 2021, about a year ago. I had just finished a prep for a bodybuilding competition and pretty much ran my health into the ground. I was using competing as like a distraction to pretty much hide, not necessarily hide things that I was not willing to face yet, but I was using competing as a distraction for like what was underneath in terms of like just my mental state. It gave me purpose. It gave me purpose in life. So yes, ran my health into the ground. Prep was exhausting, as any bodybuilding prep should be. It was exhausting, and I was going on vacation like 2 weeks after the competition. So I was like, this vacation is about to be great. Like, I need this vacation, I need to rest, I need to relax. But the thing about it, which when I first started my YouTube channel, my idea was, I knew I wanted something to change in my life. It was right after this vacation, because that's where I realized something needs to change. And I spoke about how I had time, you know, on this vacation of what I would describe as silence. There was nothing to do, you know, as on vacation you were supposed to relax. And my mind, I even realized on the drive down, like, was a disastrous place. Like, literally, I had been running from my problems. I had been running from my issues. My voice is a little shaky because I'm nervous, but I'm fine. Yeah, I had been not honest with myself about pretty much things that I needed to address, and like, see, this is how real this is, because like, just speaking about it, like, I can tell I get emotional. Like, I was not honest with myself about like things that were still hurting me. Like, they don't hurt me anymore, but like, they were hurting me then. So anyways, I'm on vacation, and I have what I wrote in my journal because I wanted to map out the timeline. I had what I call a massive breakdown. And basically what that was me coming to terms with the fact that, okay, like, you've let this pile up to literally here, you're swimming, and like, you can't sustain this any longer. Like, so now that we've you know, done this little story, I'll go into like all the things that pretty much, like, the main components of like why I was like, okay, like, this has to stop. My ideas, thoughts, and beliefs surrounding food and my body image had caused me to develop like disordered eating habits, like which I have had, don't have anymore because I'm working to not get back into that. I had for 8 years of my life, like literally when I was in high school all the way up until like that last summer, and there was pain and trauma from, see, this is how you know it's real. Pain and trauma from a 3-year relationship that I was in through what I now understand as a crucial part of my life that was supposed to be for growth and self-discovery. I was in a very traumatic relationship, which I didn't address anything from. I had got out of the relationship, I moved home, and this is what I learned when I'll get to the point of me saying I decided I needed help and I decided I needed to go to therapy. But anyways, back to that. So yeah, there was the relationship, and then also like, just like other little subtleties, like little doubts that I had been carrying for so long, like little bits of like shame of like, I don't feel like I fit in this aspect, or I don't feel good enough in this aspect, or I was told this growing up, or society has told me this growing up, and little tiny subtleties. So that it had all compiled. And so basically, yeah, like I said, I was on vacation, had a huge breakdown. It's like, bro, like, take a look in the mirror. Literally, I had to take a look in the mirror. And like, the whole point of this video is that I know that there are people out there, people who I call my friends, people who I look up to, like adults who have children, who have kids, adults who have kids, who are adults, who need to take a look in the mirror. Like, people I care about, people I don't even know, but I know that people, we're not taught to be honest with ourselves. We're not taught to be vulnerable and truthful with ourselves, because it's easier to not be. It's easier to not be. So anyways, so got back home. I remember I told my friend Amanda, she's like my best friend, I was like, pretty much was like, yeah, like, you know, I'm drawing the line here, enough is enough. I even, like, just for reference, I'm gonna show you this, I even recorded a video for myself and also kind of for Instagram, because I knew things were gonna be changing, and I wanted to like share the story, which is kind of why I started a YouTube channel in the first place. But take a listen at what I said in this video. So here we go. Play. Making some changes. I feel like low-key I'm about to start living for the first time, like living life like the way that Molly wants to, because yeah, we've been doing a lot of people pleasing. Okay, stand out in the line that says about to start living life the way that Molly wants to. And let me tell you, like, now sitting here today looking around, like, you know, I've tried to expand like my awareness and like realize just how much I've done since that moment. I took that video and I made that commitment, because that's what it is. It's a strong intention, it's a commitment, and it's like, it's almost like a promise to yourself And I said, I'm about to start living life the way that Molly wants to, and I'll be damned. I'm doing that, and this is the happiest I've ever been, which is why I titled this video, I watched my life transform, because literally, like, this is the life I always wanted. Like, I'm doing what I love. This is the happiest I've ever been. This is the freest I've ever felt. And that was another thing too. I want to speak about that, is like, I wanted to feel like free, like literally. And this is what's crazy too, is, which is why I think therapy is important, is you don't talk about the things that you're sensitive about. So then when you like shine the light on them, or like passionate about, when you like shine the light on them, like you realize like, holy shit, like I needed to take a look at this. Like, you know, I wanted to feel liberated. Like I wanted to liberate myself from all the shit that was weighing me down. And like, I'm telling you, when I decided like, okay, I'm gonna start talking about this, like I'm gonna go and like talk to a therapist about this, which I will talk about, there were days, some of the sessions you don't get like immediate relief, but like there were a few sessions where I remember I was fucking beaming afterwards. Like you have these breakthroughs and you can just feel literal weight off your shoulders. Like it's crazy. Anyway, sorry my face gets red. Can't help it. Didn't really put on any makeup or anything. I just sweated at the gym a couple hours ago. This is me. This is the real me. So what up, people? Anyways, we're gonna continue. So yeah, now, any tears that are shed just now, they're happy tears. So anyways, came back home from vacation. Where are we at? We're at 10 minutes. I'm gonna try not to have this be super long. Came back home from vacation, started searching for a therapist. I knew I wanted my therapist to be like, I don't want to say spiritual because that can have like a stigma around it, but I didn't want it to be like I didn't want medicine to be involved, like medications. I wanted it to be more of a holistic approach, because I just feel like that best suits me. Found a therapist, like a program, whatever, that I really liked. And so that was kind of like the first step in me being like, showing myself like I'm serious about this, because like I said, no one told me to go. No one was like, yeah, you should probably talk to someone. No one helped me pay for it. I paid like $112 a session. Sessions are about 50 minutes. I paid $112 per session. For when I first started, I was going like, I think I was going like every 5 days, like seriously, because I felt that unstable, like not joking. I was just crying all the time, like whether my parents knew it or not, or my friends, or, you know, the peers in my life. My friend Amanda probably knew, like, because my hormones were trashed from like what I had just put myself through physically. Like I had literally effed up my hormones so bad. I was just super unstable. Like I felt like I couldn't make a decision for myself, like regarding food, because I had been like following this instruction from, you know, for years back of like, this is the diet you're on, or this is this, and I was done with all that bullshit. So at this point, I realized, okay, first step is like, you know, big thing is we need to fix the food, because it's like you've got to eat to live, and you've got to make decisions about what you eat multiple times a day, and I couldn't do that. I'm not joking you. Like I would try to assemble a plate of food, and so I'm gonna pause for a minute. People who have never struggled with like eating disorder behavior, or witnessed it firsthand, you're not gonna understand what I'm talking about here, and that's totally okay. But even I remember once I had a conversation with my mom, and I was like crying, and she was like, you're in control, Molly, like just don't do that. And it's like, if I could just not do that, that would be great, but it's like I can't. It's a literal disorder. It's like, it's kind of like an addictive behavior. Like I couldn't make simple decisions for myself. A 23-year-old girl, I can't even, like, without my brain going on a whole, it was just bad. So, which again, I was ready to be honest with myself and take a look in the mirror and be like, do you really want to be weighing your food for the rest of your life, every single meal? Do you really want to be weighing every piece of food that you put on your plate? No, I don't want to be doing that. And so I'm gonna quickly talk about like what I learned regarding like why the food thing had spiraled into such a big issue. Is growing up, and I learned this in my therapy. Growing up, my dad is very passionate about working out. So now when I say all this, like I'm not saying I wish I could rewrite my childhood. I think that everything happened to me, or I was raised the way I was raised, everything is like, I wouldn't change a thing. But growing up and being in a household where your physical body was kind of put on a pedestal, it created this pressure, not pressure, but it created this idea in my head that like I had to, that like being fit was like, you were praised for that, like good. And if you weren't, then it's like, and again, I'm not saying that my parents did that. It's just, I watched, my dad cared about his health. You know, my mom cares about her health too. And like, it just, one thing I learned in therapy, it all goes back to your childhood. Also, you know, just other things, but typically some of the root like thought patterns start in childhood. So not only that, but then on top of that, when I started bodybuilding, you know, like it's competitive. Like you get praise and you win things if you look the best. So it's like your physical appearance is a cause and effect relationship, correlation, whatever, with what you eat. So if you're putting such close control and like monitoring your appearance, that means you're having close control and you're monitoring what you're eating. So that link had to be broken. Like, if you want to have freedom with food, you need to start looking at yourself differently. So one of my other favorite things to talk about, I'd like to make a whole video about this, is I had to entirely change the way I viewed myself and what I put value on. And like stop viewing myself as just the physical vessel representing who I was. And again, like I was saying, as you can see in my apartment, I live in an artist studio. I need to just say it. I am an artist. It feels weird to say that. Like, the essence of Molly, like the cool stuff about Molly, needed to not be what she looked like, but to be how she was, how she moved through the world. Like, that's the change that needed to take place. And once I was able to kind of like start seeing myself as, you know, the intangible things, like the not the material part of me, like the skin, the face, the all of this, it's like, no. And anyone who sees you as just your physical vessel, they need to get the fuck out, because they're just what's the word? Like, they're just making it worse. So as I go on this journey of me talking about everything to my therapist, I felt like I literally showed her like a timeline of like, so then there was this, and 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 it's like, and now here we are. And it's like this whole cascade of events, and now it's like, you know, it's kind of left you to be like, okay, I need to deal with some of this. Now, I'm gonna say, anything that happens to you, whether at the time felt like a bad experience or a good experience, can be a lesson. Just like, you know, the painful relationship I was in, huge lesson. Like, it literally lit a fire under my butt so crazy, to where like when I was done with that, like, I'm telling you, I was on a mission to like get my life back, like straight up, to like, because I remember one day thinking towards the end, like, oh, I wish my life was like this. And I would daydream and be like, well, but I can't do that. This person doesn't support me doing that. This person doesn't see them doing that lifestyle. And then it's like, but you can do that. Like, you can take control. Literally, why I got this tattoo, it says you are in control. It's a brain and hands. The brain representing your perspective, what you choose to do. The hands representing like the circumstances you're given. Okay, like you are in control. I wrote, start visualizing how you want to live life. Anything that doesn't support that can go. bye. Like anything that doesn't support that, it's like you need to prioritize your mental health, and you need to prioritize like just, I don't know, man, you need to just get it together. So anyways, yeah, so I had a plan of how this video was gonna go, and I'm like, it's gonna be short, it's gonna be on task, and it's definitely like not going like that, but it's fine. Anyways, oh yes, I wrote, I wanted to be able to sit with myself and be comfortable with everything going on inside my head. I've been reading, I've just been reading a lot of books recently, and I really like this book about Buddhism, that it says that the natural state of our mind is like a still pond. And like, you know, when you drop a pebble into the water, it creates ripples. So things that we encounter in life create ripples in the pond that is our mind. But the natural state of our mind is clear. So basically, like, and then I started to learn about mindfulness and kind of just, you know, realizing you're not your thoughts, you're just observing your thoughts. And yeah, we can all achieve like a still mind, and you know, it's never perfect, but that's what I'm working towards, is I want to be able to sit with myself in silence and be okay with everything. We're going to talk about relationships now. I am someone who, when I start to like somebody or I'm talking to somebody, I can feel myself and I can see myself molding into what I think they would like. Like, and I think we all do that, and it's unintentional, and I think it happens like subconsciously, but because I knew I had all this healing that I wanted to do, and I had all this like, you know, I saw the trajectory that I wanted to go on, I knew it was time for me to, you need to not be dating right now. Like, and that's another thing that people do, is because they're unhappy with themselves and they can't be alone, they're like, I'll just go find a partner to wrap myself around and like spend this time with, and they'll be my distraction. I'm gonna be honest, I am a major loner. I love spending time alone. Like, I'm not afraid to do things alone. I almost prefer it. I'm just selective, but there was a time from kind of like after I got out of my 3-year relationship that I keep referring to, where I was just kind of, I wasn't carelessly dating, but I was dating without being kind of selective. My camera got out of focus. It's just kind of like anyone that fit a couple of the boxes, like that worked, because I wasn't looking for a true partner, whether I wanted to admit that or not. I was looking for someone to distract me and make me feel better. When I knew where I was at that summer, I knew you need to spend some time alone. And it was hard because, like, you know, your close friends, you talk with them, and, you know, like anyone does, you talk about who you're dating, like you talk about the people in your life. So whenever I would be around my friends and they would be telling me like, oh, like I'm talking to this guy, or went out with this guy, or like I met this guy on a dating app, it made me, I had a really hard time like telling myself, that's not for you right now. Like, you need to spend time alone. And by doing that, by spending time alone, like you start to learn about yourself. I think it takes some amount of time to kind of like shake off all the old, like the energy from like, oh, this person that I liked because I was being like this, because they would like this. Okay, this person I was being like this. That's what I like to call people pleasing. Like, it takes time to shed all that, like shed it all off and get back to your true state of like who you really are. And so I'm gonna really pay attention here. Really pay attention to what I'm saying is like spending time, 2 years. Okay, still to this day, I do not have a boyfriend right now. I could get one if I wanted one, believe me. Like, spending time not dating anyone, like you're not sleeping with anyone, you're not talking to anyone, you're not trying to get with anyone, totally spend time being single, you start to learn about yourself. Because like I said, you know, you'll get to a certain point where you're like, okay, like I don't have any attachments. That's what it is. It's not having any attachments, because I think that's when you really start to tune into like, what do I want with my life? And I've been in that like state, I'm gonna call that a state of mind, for long enough to where now I have a very clear vision of this is who I am, this is what I want. And now not only that, but when you return to dating, like, you know exactly what you want and you know exactly what you don't want. And not only that, but you've built up this solitude and happiness being alone, that you can go out into the dating world and like not feel like you're gonna be at a loss if something doesn't work out. Like, I kept telling myself this, and I realized, you know, every time that something hasn't worked out with a guy, and I've been like, damn, like, didn't work out, my life has only gotten better. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to be like, men suck. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm happy for all the guys that have been in my life. Thank you if you have. I'm sure that you taught me something and I love spending time with you, but like, there's like that idea of like, oh, the one that got away and this and that. You need to get out of that mindset, because I think that also on the inverse, whenever you get a partner who is really like, you know, really suits you, I feel like you can appreciate them more when you don't depend on them. I want to tell a short little story. I was getting my hair done, and I overheard they were like blow drying my hair. My mom does my hair. And there was a lady in the background talking about her daughter, I think, who's in high school, and this new guy that she's dating. And I just kind of was like, and she was like, what? Like, when did you get your first boyfriend? And I was like, well, like, what are we talking here? Like, legit boyfriend or like high school boyfriend? No, my cat's trying to bite me. Because like, when you think back, it's like, does it really count? Because I feel like, I wrote down this funny thing. I feel like when you haven't spent time alone to know what you really want, it's like you're going into the ice cream shop as a child and your parents are picking out your flavor for you. Listen, you know you're getting ice cream, and that's all that matters, okay? Who gives a shit what flavor it is? Like, I'm getting ice cream and that's gonna make me happy. That's how dating is whenever you haven't spent time getting to know yourself. Listen, give me a man that has a pulse and he's taller than me and he'll spend some time with me and he's put his arm around me. That's good enough. No, don't do that, okay? And I have people that I really care about, or people that I see in life who do that, whether y'all realize it or not. Spend some time alone. All this being said, I'd like to say I am at a point now where, yes, I've spent this time and I'm like, I'm ready to date again. So, listen, y'all heard it first. Cat is trying to bite me, hang on. Quit! He always gets upset when I sit on the floor. Don't do it. Yeah, I don't wanna like get into a relationship and then have it turn into my entire existence as that. I think that there's a such thing as a relationship where you continue to support them being them, they continue to support you being you, and it's healthy. It's healthy, and you both still have freedom. My face gets really red whenever I'm nervous, and obviously I'm nervous right now, so that's why my face is really red. But I'm okay. Don't worry. I'm fine. To go back to talking about whenever I first started like going to therapy, I remember that I was having such a hard time because like at the beginning, the first couple months, because like I had all this, I'm very hard on myself. Like when I want something to happen, I almost want it to happen like immediately. And I would like have all these plans. I'd be like, okay, this is how my day is gonna go. And if I didn't execute the day correctly, I was getting really upset. So I think another thing to remember is like, be gentle on yourself. Like that's another thing I had to learn is give yourself some grace, give yourself some love. I'm talking to men and women. If you're a man, listen up. You deserve love from yourself. If you're a woman, you deserve love from yourself too. But I feel like it's like, you know, we're humans and we have emotions and we're not robots. So you need to start treating yourself like that. Felt like I should be doing more. Like I felt like I should be doing more, you know, just like productivity. That's what I'm trying to say. I felt like I should be being more productive, but it's like I had to realize your number one priority right now is you're working on the things, like you're working on getting stable. And I know that just sounds absolutely like ridiculous. Like you would picture me and you would think like are you in a hospital? Like, what do you mean you're not stable? But it's like I'm telling you, when you start to be honest with yourself and you wipe the dust off the mirror and you really see yourself how you are, it's hard. I'm telling you, it is hard, because no one is like, we're simply not honest with ourselves. And yeah, I kept feeling like I needed to progress more, and then like I would have like little setbacks, or like, okay, like I would have a day where it's like, okay, you relapse on like your eating habits, and like I would binge eat. But like, for example, if you're someone that struggles with like, you have borderline alcoholic tendencies and you drink so much on Friday night that you don't even remember how much you drank, like that's the equivalent to me going back in the trash and grabbing food that I ordered 2 hours ago and going to eat it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we all have something, you know what I'm saying, guys? Like, we all have our demons. And I just like, I feel like I come off as, especially recently, as a very happy person, happy all the time. If you know me, I'm the light in the room, like beaming at all times. Like, you know what? I bring good energy. I just do. But let me tell you, I have my dark parts. We all have our dark parts. And like, you don't need to be ashamed of it. Like, we all have things that we're like, wow, why do we do that? Like, I wish I could stop doing that. And that's another thing. You have to take a closer look. Why are you doing that in the first place? And for me, and I learned this as I started to like kind of like back up, look at my patterns and my behavior, and the root of where it was coming from is with a lot of eating disorder tendencies. I think it's a distraction. You're trying to suppress something. Like, and literally when you eat, it's like you're just pushing it down. But I mean, in a metaphorical sense, you're trying to provide comfort and suppress like whatever you're not willing to deal with. So, and like there was a ton of times where I remember, I think I was still struggling in August. So it's like, you know, June, July, August. I've been in therapy 3 months now. I remember I reached out to one of my friends once because I was still doing that stuff. Not all the time, but it was still happening. It doesn't end overnight, especially when you've had these issues for 8 years. And I don't want to say that it necessarily is cured now. Like, I just move through life in a more mindful way, and I watch myself. It's almost like you kind of have to come out and be like, why am I doing that? Or why do I feel that way? Or why does, you have to kind of ask questions. And there will be days, even recently in the last few weeks, where I'm put in an environment where that behavior could be very easy to go back to. And typically it's whenever I feel like I don't have control and I want to get control or whatever it is. If I weren't mindful, I would slip right back into it and have the radical honesty to wipe the dust off the mirror and take a look at yourself and be like, am I happy with where I'm at? Am I happy with my thoughts? Am I happy with where I'm at? Am I happy with my life? Because I knew that I got to a point where, push comes to shove, you've had a mental breakdown, and which was the greatest thing ever in hindsight. And now, the reason why I wanted to make this video was because I've been realizing, as I've been trying to slow down in life and look at how are things going. Me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago would have walked into my life and met this girl and been like, I want to be like that when I'm older. I want my apartment to be like that. I want the way she lives to be like that. I want to look like that. I want to behave like that. I want to think like that. And that's when I realized, okay, you've hit a little bit of a milestone and you need to recognize that. Good job, Molly. Good work. But I don't want to be like, oh, I made it, because it's like I always want to grow. I always want to, learn more about myself. I want to keep evolving as a person. But I'm telling you, I wrote down, and that was the thing. You have to write down exactly your goals. What do you want to change? Every single thing that I wrote in this journal a year ago, I've done. And even things beyond that, opportunities have fallen straight into my lap that make me be like, I'm literally living my dream life. And that was and I'm gonna try to wrap it up here, but that was another thing, is I had to come to terms with the fact that I don't want to live a conventional life. That was, I think, honestly, I want to say that was one of the hardest, still to this day. Because all the time I get the thought in my mind of, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Because I feel like there's all these opinions and ideas of like, so, like, what are you doing with your life? I don't want a conventional life. I want to pursue my passions, and I want to, like, be a forever learner. Like, I always want to be improving, but I don't want to have a job that boxes me in to one thing. And I don't want to be doing something that I'm not passionate about. It's not a lack of work ethic, and it's not a lack of drive. It's just simply the fact that, like, I haven't found one single thing that would fulfill all the parts of me. And I'm not gonna settle for something that boxes me in and lets me only express this much of myself. And that's why it's like, you know, I love art. I'm always gonna be creating. I love fitness. Like, I'm educating myself to where, like, with nutrition and like exercise science, I'm about to get a yoga teacher training. Like, I wanna learn about all the types of movement, and I wanna learn about all, like, you know, foods. Like, food can heal you, or it can be your worst enemy. So anyways, but yeah, like, that was something that I really, you know, held a lot of shame and guilt around, was the fact that I hadn't picked something yet. I could choose one thing, one career that would make me happy in terms of I could express all the parts of myself. Like, I haven't found that yet. And so yeah, but I think that's why I'm going to end up doing, like, a lot of things. Like, I'm just going to have different outlets where I get to just express all the things that I know I'm meant to be doing. So anyways, yeah, this video has been very long, and I wanted it to be really organized, but I've realized that it's definitely not organized. But so you try sitting down and talking to a camera. It's really tricky. But if you've made it all the way to the end, I hope that this has inspired you. The whole purpose of me doing this was, I hope this has inspired you to be honest with yourself and potentially make a life-changing decision to be honest with yourself. But yeah, anyways, thus I watched my life transform. Like, if you know me personally, if you follow me on Instagram or know me personally, like, you can see, like, all the shenanigans I get into. Yeah, like, this life is a dream to me, literally. Like, it is an absolute dream. I find, like, this is gonna sound so corny, but I just find magic in the most simplest things, and that's all because my perspective has shifted, and I've got rid of all the shit that was no longer serving me, and I hope you do the same, because it can be really great. And now, just, you know, every single day, I just am, like, living to the fullest extent. And yeah, so anyways, I hope everybody has a great day. Again, whenever I speak, my face gets red because I get nervous, and I can't help it. It's very warm right now, but I am okay. Don't worry. Anyways. Okay, everybody, have a great day. Okay, bye.